More and more we see movies with unfinished or weird looking CGI. It seems that with every year the VFX quality is declining. But why is it? How movies from more than 10 years ago look better than movies we have today? Is it really the CGI artist's fault, or is there completely other reason? Nowadays, almost every big movie relies heavily on CGI, whether that's removing wires from stunt doubles or entire costume changes. For example, costume for Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War looked completely different during shooting the movie and what eventually shipped to theaters. So the original costume is lost forever. The same happened in No Way Home, where shitty practical suit had to be changed for even more shitty CGI suit, because there was a change in a story. And now we start to see the problem, which is the mentality of changing established elements in post-production. And that happens often because the story for the movie was changed pretty late in development, because of lack of forward planning, and that causes VFX artists not having enough time to finish the shots. But more on that later. Like for example, let's take the newest Thor. Now you would assume that this weird forest would be real, and it was during filming, but someone decided that not foresty enough, and this happened again. And remember, this is only one scene. Now imagine that throughout all of the movie, and you can get the understanding why the CGI looks like that. So it shouldn't be surprising that Thor Love and Thunder had over 2,300 VFX shots. Now let's compare that to the first Iron Man movie, which had roughly 800 VFX shots. The CGI looks crisp and realistic, and Iron Man suit is just and by it I mean, it's pretty cool. But why though? Maybe because it was made by people who finished their scripts before shooting and knew what they were doing. Oh, did I mean to say that out loud? Because it seems that even the director of Thor doesn't know how VFX are made.
Does that look real?
In that particular shot, no, actually.
So it doesn't come at a big surprise that only one VFX house worked on the first Iron Man and 11 VFX houses on Thor Love and Thunder, just to finish the movie on time. But still, VFX artists were forced to crunch during making of this movie, so they basically had to do overtime just to meet the tight deadline set by Marvel so their VFX house wouldn't go out of business. I'm talking a lot about Marvel in this video, but it doesn't mean that the problem doesn't apply to other studios, like for example DC. And The Flash is the perfect example of what I've been talking about earlier, because now I am talking about the movie that has been developed since 2013, has been delayed 4 times, and the movie was almost entirely scrapped because the main star, Ezra Miller, committed almost every crime on earth. This resulted in changing directors, rewriting the script, and tons and tons of reshoots. So now you can see why we have Ezra's head floating on a 3D model of Flash's costume, and horrendous CGI cameos from dead actors, or whatever this is, and the director saying these things like, come on man, people aren't that stupid. But hey, is there any solution to this issue, you ask? Well, maybe it's unionization like the Writers Guild, or at least giving part of the profits to the VFX houses so they wouldn't go bankrupt like Rhythm and Hughes Studios after finishing Life of Pi, because the director demanded a lot of revisions in the final stages of making this movie, which eventually killed the entire company because the studio didn't have the money to pay their employees. And that sucked. But bear with me, maybe, just maybe, we should treat VFX artists properly and giving them the time they need to finish their work and not putting the gun to their head. After all, we should respect the VFX artists, because without CGI we wouldn't have our favorite movies. But hey, if you want to know how Sony forced their employees to crunch during making Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, watch this video.